Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have an extraordinary musician here, Mr. Crevier, Mike Crevier. Am I pronouncing that right, Mike?
That's correct.
Yeah. This gentleman is really about to give the world a treat.
Yes.
He's sat down and produced his latest CD. This project is world music. I say world because it's rhythms from all over.
That's right.
And spices and flavors added together from different cultures, making one fantastic, infectious groove.
Yes.
And this gentleman is going to tell us a bit about it. Tell me, Mike, so how did this project come about, man?
Well, how this project came about was when I first came into rhythms and stuff. I mean, we're talking all the way from where my roots is, which is Trinidad and Tobago. And so, you know, I always loved that infectious feeling of rhythms. Everybody's coming together and they're playing together, you know, and they're just, you know, there's just a love and there's a feeling and there's all these fusion of things that are happening, but it's all together. And so because it's all together, you can't help but to come and to join and to be a part and, you know, and celebrate and all these good things.
Yeah.
So from that, when we moved to Brooklyn, New York, I remember going into Prospect Park specifically, and they would have these guys like in a line of 12, and they range from, you know, all parts of the world, from Brazil, from Puerto Rico, Cuba, Africa, America, you name it. These were guys that were lined up almost in a drum circle, okay? And they would have every kind of drum imaginable, from a conga to a djembe to a dundun, you name it. But these guys, every Sunday, except you know, when it rained, they weren't there, but every Sunday they were there. And I remember going out there, and that stuff would capture me like, man, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they could draw crowds and crowds, you know, from all walks of life, and people would be dancing and carrying on and this, that, the other, you know, because there's a spirit to drumming.
Right.
And that's why I love drumming, because there's a spirit to it, okay? So from that, because of listening to all the different nations and all the different styles and this and that, later on, that's when I realized, okay, I've always wanted to do a project where it was just rhythms, not necessarily music, but just rhythms, just so that I could capture that same spirit and that same music and the same fusion all into a record. And now here it is that, you know, since I've developed my writing and producing skills and having played on this one and played on this one CD and played on so many CDs, and after a while I said, you know what, wait a minute, it's time for me to have my voice.
It's time.
Yeah, no, it really is. You know, it was time for me to have my voice. So now that the time has come for me to have my own voice, I realized, let's get it going. So after I came to that realization, I said, okay, so if I'm going to do this, I need to do this with people that I know who are not only going to bring it, but there's a spirit, there's a connection, there is rhythms, there is all these things that is going to bring it out at its best, you see? And so after thinking about it, at one point I was like, you know, I could have gotten the stars and the this and the that, and I probably still can, but you're just gonna have to find that out as the days goes by. So I'm not gonna say anything.
More surprises coming.
I'm just gonna say there's gonna be some surprises, but it's gonna be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, so I thought of two people in mind. This guy named Spice Man and my buddy Vernon, who we played together for many years. Actually including Spice Man, because I remembered when I first saw Spice Man, he used to come with his son, and they would play on the streets, and just to collect money and stuff, and to try to get something. But again, it's just they played from the heart, and they were really good musicians on top of it.
Yes, yeah.
And every time I would see them, I would just stop and listen and drop $1 or something to support them, or every time I'd see them, I'd always acknowledge. And one day it just so happened that me and Spice Man hooked up on some gig, and it was like magic. There are some people you work with, and they just have that magical connection, and there are others that you work with, and it's good for the moment, and that's it. You know what I mean? But these two gentlemen in particular, there was that magic. And I tell you, when I thought about this project, I knew off the bat these two would bring it, and they would create that magic and that soul and that spirit that's needed for this particular album. Okay. Today we tracked we did 2 tracks today. One called Smooth Love, which that's more of a very smooth type of rhythms, and it's real easy, and the whole idea of smooth love is just as you say, it's smooth love, because you should be able to sit and listen, and you should be able to feel that feeling like, man, I just want to make love to somebody. Or you could just relax and just be at one with yourself and just feel like, man, that rhythm is just taking me somewhere that is feeling loved. Okay? So I'm very proud to say that the outcome is coming out really good, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is.
And the second one we did is called Flavor. And so Flavor is a mix of rhythms from different parts of the world just fused into one. So it almost has what we call that Juve feel, where you're chipping down the road, that kind of thing. But it's not exactly calypso, it's not exactly soca, it's not exactly Brazilian, it's not exactly this, it's not.
It sounds to me like
African.
You got an infusion of different
yes.
cultures. Okay.
Yes, all it is it's a fusion of flavor, let's put it this way, together. And that's why I call this one Flavor, but we might change the name. But anyways, but that's what it's called. It's called Flavor, and you guys are just gonna have to find out, by the time we're done with it. But other than that, I just want to say that this studio session day 2 has been just mind-blowing, people. And I'm telling you guys, please, when this is said and done, you have to pick up a copy of a CD, download whatever you can do to support this CD, because I'm telling you, I've worked my butt off to do this, to say, man, I am representing 100%, and I'm very proud of this project, and it is going to be awesome by the time it's said and done. So, to find me, or to find Vernon or any one of us, go to Facebook. And, again, you can look up my name, which is Michael Crevier. Look up Facebook, and it's right there. If you want to check out Vernon and all his accomplishments and, say hey to him, go to Vernon Stuber. He's right there on Facebook. Check him out. Say hey, friend him. All this good stuff. If you want to hire either one of us, please. If you want to hire the 3 of us, please, let's get it going. But for the most part, I just want to say this experience has been the most high I've ever had in many years, and it's been nothing short of a blessing. And so I say that to say that God is great.
Okay, Mr. Kirby, I think you covered about all of it, and yes, you did say something that was just, these folks, man, when they hear this project, they are definitely going to snatch it up.
Oh yes,
it's going to be available for you.
Oh yes,
coming soon.
Oh yes, coming soon. Coming soon. Coming soon.
Okay, with that, we're going to bid you good night until day 3.
That's right.
Look forward to seeing you.
One love, everybody. One love.